Hello and welcome to Stocks to Watch, where we have exclusive meetings with business leaders to help make more informed investment decisions. My name is John Franklin, an experienced exploration geologist and your host. Joining me today is Elmer B. Stewart, Chairperson, President and CEO of Copper Fox Metals Incorporated, which is a Canadian-based company advancing a portfolio of large-scale porphyry copper projects across North America. However, the company has also proven that it's got a good track record with executing value-accretive deals for its shareholders with partners like Teck Resources, a $20 billion plus market cap company. Now, Elmer, firstly, welcome to the show.
I was glad to be here.
Great. So recently, your financial and operational results for Q2 2025 were released. What were your top priorities during the quarter, and did you achieve what you set out to do?
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Well, our top priorities was one, getting the reports from the 2024 work that was completed at Schaft Creek reported. We have a few more left to report. We expect to see those relatively quickly or soon here. And the overall objective there was to advance the project toward the preliminary feasibility stage. And with the budget that's been announced for 2025, Teck are going to be working hard to determine where they're at the end of the year. And down in Arizona, what we did was we really pushed hard on the permitting process to get a maiden drilling project done at Mineral Mountain. It's a very large porphyry system and right between the Florence deposit and the Resolution deposit, strategically well located. And we've been pushing that forward. We've been at it a long time, a lot longer than I thought. But the thing is, the BLM has approved the plan of operation, and now we're putting the final touches on that. And I think that was a major accomplishment. Van Dyke, we announced a preparation of an execution plan, and that's in the works right now. And at Sombrero Butte, we're still working on updating the exploration model. We got the last of the studies in now. So those, I think, were the pretty major accomplishments. And yes, we achieved just about everything we thought we were going to do in the quarter.
Fantastic. That's what shareholders want to see, that you're doing what you say you're going to do. So onto that Van Dyke project. It's an in situ copper or ISCR project. So you're wanting to push that through to PFS or pre-feasibility study stage. What key milestones have been achieved on that project so far?
Well, since we acquired the project, I think there's been two major key milestones. One, we've established a current mineral resource. And we've done that twice. There have been two resource estimates done. And there's been two preliminary economic assessments done, one in 2015, one in 2020. The key thing to come out of the resource estimate in 2020 was the fact that the deposit is open to the southwest. So that has a number of positive implications for the project itself into the future. And the other part was the economics, quite robust. And we used $3.15 a pound, which was the long-term consensus prices back then. And if you see where long-term consensus prices are now, clearly the robust economics of the 2021 PEA still stands, and it's a very compelling project to take a look at if you're looking at a near-term, scalable, ESG, favorable type of medium-sized copper mine.
Great. Yeah. So those economics have obviously become much better as far as the outlook, and copper's now pushing above that $5 per pound mark. So that's good upside. So based on that, what are the next steps, I guess, and expected timeline for moving forward with this PFS?
First, we're going to have to complete the execution plan, and we've announced that, and we've retained a group of very experienced engineering firms in all aspects of like a copper project or resource project. They all have hands-on experience with the two most recent in situ copper recovery projects in Arizona. One was Florence, the other was Gunnison. And so, we were able to take advantage of their expertise, which they learned, and now we're going to be able to use that. But what we got to do is we got to get that done. That's going to set out the timing, the studies, the scale, the scope, how much it's going to cost. Clearly, the board's going to have to take a look at that. We're going to have to take a look at the number of options that are available to us, because completing a preliminary feasibility study can be a very expensive process. But you just want to make absolutely certain that we fully understand what has to be done to take that project to the pre-feasibility stage. And we'll be waiting to see if the decision is made to do that.
Yeah, and on Van Dyke was actually a producing mine previously. So that's, I guess you can tease out some information from that side. But do you think that the geology and the existing infrastructure, etc., support the idea that this can actually become an operational mine once again?
Yes, I do. Because one of the key parameters of an in situ recovery type copper project is very simple geology. And the geology at Van Dyke is very simple. 95% plus of the mineralization is hosted in the Pinal schist, which is, and that's a very low acid consuming geological environment. We've demonstrated that. The nature of the mineralization, highly soluble. It's flat, relatively flat lying. And that's good for being able to tackle it. It's not steeply different things. That's a positive thing. So it's got a number of criteria which are required for making, or what people generally accept as what you need to get a favorable in situ copper recovery project that would, from a geotechnical standpoint, they have them all. And so now the thing is just to identify where we're going and how it can be put together, because the economics are robust, as we talked about. And the thing is, it's just a matter of making sure when every step you do, you fully understand what you're getting yourself in for. Because specifically, one of the projects in Arizona didn't do very well because of the leaching kinetics. Well, we did a lot of work back a year ago, and we have a much better understanding of the leach kinetics. And the key thing about in situ leaching, you got to be able to understand the leaching kinetics, and you need to understand the hydrology of that project. So yeah, looking forward to working on it, pushing it ahead if we can.
Fantastic. So that's your Van Dyke project. Now, if we want to pivot a little bit onto your flagship property, which you've got a JV partner in Teck Resources, which I mentioned previously. Are you guys actively preparing Schaft Creek for its PFS study? Can you give us an update on the current progress of that?
Well, the joint venture has announced a $15.8 million budget for 2025. The main component of that, the field component, is they're going to be investigating the waste rock storage facility and the tailings storage facility, two key parameters of the project, which hasn't been investigated by the current joint venture. That will be important because they need the results of that to be able to determine whether the project could move to the preliminary feasibility study. But there's a bunch of other things they're going to have to determine as well. The decision will be primarily up to Teck Resources because they are fully funding the program. They have the operational expertise to move a project into that phase, because as we all know, Schaft Creek is a very large project. When you look at it in its entirety, it's an exceptionally large daily throughput type of an open pit porphyry copper system. So that's what Teck will be doing, primarily most of that. And and hopefully toward the end of the year, they're going to be in a position where they can say, listen, we think we can move this thing to the preliminary feasibility study. But there's a number of things that have to be done. And one of the things is you got to be able to determine a very strong business case to advance it to the preliminary feasibility stage. So I'll let Teck work there. I'm very pleased with what they're doing, and we'll see what the results come out over the summer.
Okay, great. So yeah, working through it step by step and doing that economic analyzation first. Okay, well, to round this out, in 3 brief statements, could you give potential investors and existing investors kind of what makes Copper Fox a compelling investment opportunity today?
Well, I think there's a number of different things that would fit into that question. And number one is that all the metals we have on our metal balance sheet are considered critical metals. 2, we have 3 resource projects, all of which the resources are open and they could be expanded with further exploration. And the other thing is we got a very high net asset value based on the technical reports that we've done today. And the insiders, I mean, our ownership is quite large from the one, relatively speaking, and that's should be pretty much aligned with all the other shareholders of Copper Fox. So when you look at it, yes, we've got a lot going on, and I believe it is something that most people should seriously take a look at where we're at, what we've got on the balance sheet, and where we plan to take this company.
Well, copper's certainly a hot topic at the moment, so I think you're in the right space for sure. So, well, thanks very much for coming onto the show today, Elmer, and we will wrap it up there. Is there anything else you wanted to say in closing?
No, it's just I think we're in a great space right now. I believe the demand for copper is going to increase. The demand for all critical metals look like right now they're going to increase. There'll be a few gyrations up and down, but overall, I think the trend's upward. Whole copper seems to be holding right now around the $5 mark, and I'm not really sure why that is, but it's nice to see it there. And I think the next leg up is going to be toward the end of 2025 and hopefully early 2026, and we'll see where we're at that time. So it's a great space to be in.
Absolutely. So for anyone who's interested in potentially investing or finding out more, Copper Fox is on the TSXV as CUU, the OTCQX as CPFXF, and the FSC as HPU. All right, Elmer, thanks for your time.
Thank you.